My wife kicked me out after her best friend claimed I hit on her. 5 months later, the friend admitted she was jealous. I gave divorce papers and she fell apart in total shock then. My wife didn't just kick me out, she utterly destroyed our life based on a lie. And the truth, when it finally clawed its way out, was far more twisted than I ever could have imagined. It's 2 a.m., and I'm at my brother Ben's place. My life imploded less than 24 hours ago, and I can't sleep, just trying to piece together how every solid thing I thought I knew simply shattered. I'm 34, I work in cybersecurity, and until yesterday, I genuinely believed my marriage to Olivia was solid. Olivia, 32, a physical therapist. We'd been together 9 years, married for 6, and we're even talking about starting a family once her student loans were manageable. Chloe, Olivia's best friend, has been around forever. High school friends from Michigan, stayed tight through college, and when Chloe moved here 5 years ago, she practically moved in with us. Multiple dinners a week, every Friday night was girls' night, constant texting. At first, I didn't mind. Chloe had just gone through a brutal divorce, her ex cheated, and it just wrecked her. So, I figured Olivia being there for her was the right thing to do. I even helped Chloe move apartments last year. But looking back now, the signs were there, simmering under the surface. Chloe would get this look sometimes when Olivia kissed me goodbye. It's hard to describe, but it was definitely not happiness for us. Little comments, too, like, must be nice having someone who actually shows up. Or, you're so lucky, Olivia. Some of us aren't that fortunate. I always just put it down to bitterness from her divorce. About 6 months ago, we were all out to dinner. Olivia went to the bathroom, and Chloe leaned over, asking if I ever got tired of playing the perfect husband. I laughed it off, but she just stared at me a bit too long, then said, Olivia talks about me constantly, and it's honestly exhausting. Again, I just thought, single and bitter. Then yesterday, everything exploded. I got home around 6 p.m., a normal Tuesday. Olivia was already making dinner, but she seemed off. I figured she just had a long day. We ate in a weird silence. As I was loading the dishwasher, she dropped the bomb. Chloe had told her what I did. I had absolutely no idea what she was talking about. She gave me this look I'd never seen before, just pure disgust, and told me Chloe had come to her office that afternoon, crying. According to Chloe, 2 weeks ago, when Olivia worked late, I'd made a move. Chloe claimed I texted her, asking if she wanted to come over and watch a movie because I was bored. She said she came over, thinking we were just friends hanging out. Then, halfway through the movie, I supposedly put my hand on her leg and told her I'd always found her attractive. Chloe said she froze, pushed my hand away, and left immediately. She hadn't wanted to say anything because she didn't want to ruin our marriage. But then, she claimed I texted her again yesterday, asking to talk about what happened, and she couldn't keep quiet anymore. My stomach dropped. None of that happened. I told Olivia Chloe was lying, that I never texted her, never invited her over, nothing. I pulled up my phone to show her my message history. It was basically empty. A few group texts, maybe 3 individual messages over the past year, all boring stuff like running late. Olivia wouldn't even look at my phone. She said Chloe had shown her screenshots of texts I supposedly sent from a different number. I asked to see them. She said Chloe was too upset to send them, but Olivia had seen them herself. I pointed out how that made 0 sense. Why would I have a different number? But Olivia just said, you work in cybersecurity. You could easily fake a number or use some app. I tried everything. I told her I was home that night, playing games online with my buddy Noah. I could prove it with Discord logs and game history. She said I could have done it after gaming. I said, fine, check the Ring doorbell. It'll show nobody came over. She said I probably deleted the footage. Every explanation I gave, she had a counter ready. It felt like she'd already decided I was guilty, and nothing would change her mind. I asked why Chloe would lie about something like this, and Olivia just screamed that Chloe was her best friend and had nothing to gain from lying. Then Olivia started crying, saying she'd defended me at first, but Chloe showed her the texts. She called Chloe right there, on speaker. Chloe was sobbing, saying she was so sorry, that she never wanted this to happen, and she just couldn't live with the guilt. I tried to speak, and Chloe cut me off, something like, "Please, just admit what you did. Don't make this harder on Olivia." I said she was lying, and she started crying harder, saying she knew I'd deny it and try to make her look crazy. Olivia hung up and told me to pack a bag and leave. I said, "No, this is my house, too. I'm not leaving over lies." She said if I didn't go, she'd call the cops and say I was making her feel unsafe. That threat, it broke something deep inside me. I just grabbed some clothes, my laptop, my toothbrush, and left. Sat in my car for maybe 20 minutes, just staring at nothing, then drove straight to Ben's apartment. Ben opened the door, saw my face, and pulled me inside without a single question. I told him everything. He was furious. He'd met Chloe at holidays, family stuff, and he never liked her. Always said she gave him weird vibes, that she was too attached to Olivia. I'd thought he was paranoid, but maybe he saw something I missed. Ben said I needed to get a lawyer immediately, that false accusations like this could destroy my life. I couldn't sleep that night, just replaying every interaction with Chloe, trying to figure out if I'd done something that could be twisted. Nothing. The next morning, I called Olivia, went straight to voicemail. Texted her, nothing. I sent a long email, explaining everything, begging her to look at the evidence. Silence. I even called her mom, thinking maybe she could talk sense into Olivia, but her mom was ice cold. Said Olivia told her what happened, and she was disappointed in me. I tried to explain, and she cut me off, saying Olivia wouldn't lie and Chloe had no reason to make things up. Everyone had already decided I was guilty. That night at Ben's place, I made a decision. If Olivia wasn't going to believe me, if she was going to take Chloe's word without even considering the possibility of lies, then maybe this marriage wasn't what I thought it was. The first week was rough. Ben was at work during the day, so I'd just sit on his couch, scrolling through my phone, looking at old photos of Olivia and me. I kept thinking she'd come to her senses, realize Chloe's story had holes, call and apologize. The phone stayed silent. I texted her every day for 5 days, simple stuff, asking if we could talk, saying I missed her. Every message was ignored. Day 6, I drove past our house and saw Chloe's car in the driveway at 11 a.m. on a Thursday. She'd basically moved in. That's when I realized this wasn't blowing over. Chloe was there every day, in my house, probably reinforcing her lies constantly. Olivia wasn't getting any space to think. Ben sat me down on day 7. He told me I needed to stop torturing myself. Couldn't keep driving by the house. Couldn't keep texting into the void. I needed to protect myself. He gave me a friend's number, a divorce attorney. I stared at that contact for 2 hours before calling. The attorney's name was David. Mid-50s, handled hundreds of divorces. We met at his office the next morning. I showed him everything, the basically empty text history with Chloe, my Discord gaming logs from that night, my Ring doorbell account showing no activity. David listened, then said something that really stuck with me. He said, even if we prove Chloe lied, even if Olivia eventually realizes the truth, you need to ask yourself if you can ever trust your wife again after this. That hit hard because he was right. Olivia didn't just believe Chloe. She refused to even consider my side, kicked me out, blocked me, turned her family against me. David said we should file immediately. He explained there was a mandatory 60-day waiting period, and if there were disputes, it could be longer. He said we should get ahead of it, file the paperwork. If, by some miracle, Olivia came around before it was done, we could dismiss the petition, but at least I'd be protected. I signed the initial paperwork that day. It felt surreal, like watching someone else's life implode. David said Olivia would be served within a week. I left his office and just walked around downtown for hours. I ended up at this park by the river where Olivia and I had our first date 9 years ago. We got ice cream and talked for 5 hours straight. I remembered thinking that night that I'd probably marry her someday. Now here I was, signing divorce papers because she believed lies over me. I called my best friend Noah that night. He's the one I was gaming with when Chloe claimed I made a move. I told him everything, and he was shocked. He offered to call Olivia and confirm I was online that whole evening. I said, don't bother. She wouldn't believe him either. Noah mentioned that Chloe always seemed off to him. He remembered a Christmas party 2 years ago when she got drunk and was weirdly touchy with Olivia all night. I remembered that, too. We just laughed it off at the time. Week 2, I started functioning again. Couldn't stay at Ben's forever, so I looked for apartments. Found a decent one-bedroom about 20 minutes from work, signed a 6-month lease. Ben helped me move my stuff in, which wasn't much since most of my things were still at the house. I bought cheap furniture, tried to make it feel like home. It didn't. The place felt empty and depressing. I threw myself into work. My boss noticed I was off, but didn't ask questions. I started staying late, taking on extra projects, anything to avoid going home to that empty apartment. Ben suggested hitting the gym every morning before work, said it helped him through his breakup a few years back. I hadn't worked out regularly since college, but I needed somewhere to put all this anger. It actually helped. Something about lifting heavy weights made everything else feel manageable for a bit. Week 3. Still no word from Olivia. The divorce papers had been served. David called, saying Olivia got them and apparently freaked out. Her mom called his office, screaming about how I was abandoning my wife when she needed me. How dare I file for divorce? David calmly explained that her daughter kicked me out over false accusations and refused all contact. Her mom hung up on him. Part of me hoped getting served would wake Olivia up, make her realize I was serious. Still nothing. Then something interesting happened. One of our mutual friends, a girl named Sophia who works with Olivia at the clinic, reached out to me on Instagram. She said she didn't know what happened, but she didn't believe I would do what Chloe was claiming. I asked why, and she said Chloe had been acting really weird lately. Practically living at Olivia's place. Gets defensive when anyone asks about me. And honestly, parts of her story just didn't add up. Sophia said a few other people at the clinic were questioning Chloe's version too, but nobody wanted to say anything to Olivia because she was so fragile. That conversation gave me a tiny bit of hope that maybe the truth would come out eventually. But it didn't change my immediate situation. I was still alone in a depressing apartment. My wife still hated me. Chloe was still playing the victim. Week 4, Ben insisted I go on a date. He set me up with one of his girlfriend's friends, a girl named Ashley. She was nice, worked in marketing. We got drinks downtown. I tried to be present, but my heart just wasn't in it. Halfway through, she said, "I'm not over my ex, am I?" I apologized. Said I was going through a divorce and probably shouldn't be dating. She was cool about it, wished me luck. I went home feeling even more alone. By week 8, I was starting to accept this as my new reality. Olivia wasn't coming back. The divorce was moving forward. I started making plans for what my future might look like. Maybe move cities. Start fresh. Focus on my career, go for that senior position. Open up, travel, something Olivia and I always talked about but never did. Then week 10 happened, and everything changed. Olivia's mom called me. Olivia's mom calling was the last thing I expected. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. Her voice was shaking. She said she needed to tell me something, and she owed me an apology. Turns out Chloe got drunk at her house 3 days earlier. Olivia wasn't there, working a late shift. Chloe started crying about how hard everything had been, how guilty she felt. Olivia's mom thought she meant guilty about coming forward with the accusation. Then Chloe said something that made her pause. Something about how she just loved Olivia so much and couldn't watch me have her anymore. Olivia's mom asked what that meant, and Chloe broke down completely. Confessed she'd made everything up. Said she'd been in love with Olivia since high school. Watching us be happy was torture. She thought if she could break us up, maybe Olivia would finally see her differently. Olivia's mom was horrified. She confronted her right there. And Chloe admitted everything, the fake screenshots, the lies, all of it. She used some app to create fake text conversations that looked like they came from my number. Olivia's mom apologized over and over on that call. Said she should have trusted me, should have asked more questions. I thanked her for telling me, but honestly, I felt numb. Yeah, I was vindicated, but the damage was done. I told her she needed to tell Olivia immediately. She said she'd been trying, but Olivia wouldn't listen. She thought her mom was just defending me out of guilt. I hung up and sat there, staring at the wall. Part of me wanted to feel victorious, but mostly, I just felt empty. 2 hours later, my phone started blowing up with texts from Olivia. Dozens of them. I didn't read them. I turned my phone off and went to bed. Next morning, 17 missed calls from Olivia and maybe 30 texts. I finally read them. All variations of begging me to call, saying she was sorry, we needed to talk. I didn't respond. David called that afternoon, saying Olivia's lawyer had reached out, asking if I'd be willing to meet to discuss reconciliation. I told David to set up a meeting, but make it clear it was only to finalize divorce details, nothing else. He said he'd handle it. The meeting was scheduled for Friday afternoon at our house. Olivia wanted to meet there, probably thinking being home would make me emotional. I agreed, but said David was coming with me. Friday came, and I drove to the house for the first time in almost 3 months. Olivia's car was in the driveway. So was Chloe's. My stomach dropped. I called David, told him Chloe was there. He said, "Wait, I'll handle it." We walked in together. Olivia was on the couch, crying. Chloe was standing behind her, a hand on Olivia's shoulder. The sheer audacity. David immediately said Chloe needed to leave, or we were walking out. Olivia looked confused. Said Chloe was there to apologize, too. I almost laughed. Chloe started to say something, but David cut her off. Said her presence was inappropriate, and I had no interest in anything she had to say. Chloe's face went red. She looked at Olivia, expecting backup, but Olivia just sat there. Chloe grabbed her purse and headed for the door, but as she passed me, she muttered under her breath that I'd ruined everything. That's when I saw it click for Olivia. Her face went from confusion to shock to pure disgust in real time. She stood up and asked Chloe what that meant. Chloe froze, turned around, and you could practically see her brain trying to figure out how to backtrack. Too late. Olivia walked over and said her mom told her what Chloe said about being in love with her, that she didn't want to believe it. But the way Chloe just looked at me made it obvious. Chloe started crying, tried to grab Olivia's hands, said she did this for them, that I was keeping Olivia from seeing what they could have together. Olivia stepped back like she'd been hit, told Chloe to get out. Chloe refused. Started rambling about how she'd loved Olivia since they were 16. Waited all this time. Destroyed her own marriage because she couldn't stop thinking about Olivia. Then Olivia married me, and she had to watch us together every single day. Olivia was shaking, screamed at Chloe to get out. Chloe tried to hug her. Olivia shoved her away, and Chloe stumbled backward into the coffee table. She got up, mascara everywhere, looked at both of us with pure hatred before finally leaving. The door slammed. The house went silent. Olivia collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. Looked at me and kept saying she was so sorry. I didn't move. I just stood there, looking at this woman who was technically still my wife, but felt like a complete stranger. David pulled the divorce papers from his briefcase and set them on the coffee table. Olivia saw them and started crying harder. Begged me not to do this, said we could fix it. She'd do anything. I finally spoke. I told her she threw me out of my own home. Believed someone else over me without real evidence. Turned her family against me. Wouldn't listen when I begged her to hear my side. She kept saying sorry, that she made a terrible mistake, that Chloe manipulated her. I looked at David, and he nodded. I turned back to Olivia and said I hoped she found someone she'd actually trust, because it wasn't me, and it never would be again. I signed the papers right there, on our coffee table. Olivia was begging me to stop, saying we could go to therapy, she'd make it up to me. I stood up and walked toward the door. She grabbed my arm, and I gently pulled away. I said goodbye and left. I could hear her calling after me as I got in the car. David followed in his car. We drove to his office and finalized everything we could that day. That was 3 months ago. The divorce was finalized 2 weeks ago. I'm actually seeing Ashley now, the girl Ben set me up with. We reconnected about a month ago, and things are good. She knows everything. Doesn't judge. I moved into a bigger place, got that promotion at work, started traveling, something Olivia and I always talked about but never did. Olivia tried contacting me a few more times, but I blocked her everywhere. Ben mentioned she's in therapy now, trying to process everything. Chloe apparently moved back to Michigan. I don't feel bad for either of them. I'm actually happy now. Happier than I was in that marriage, if I'm being honest. Sometimes the worst thing that happens turns out to be the best thing. This was mine. What would you have done in my situation?